It's some more water.
You could have done that.
I know, I can start. All right, ready? You ready? Okay. I would like to make the recommendation that, employee number 1657 be approved.
This is the recommendation coming from our superintendent for, approval of item number 10.
10A.
Maintenance and custodial 1657. Can I get a motion, please?
Madam President, I'd like the motion that, for 1657 be approved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we accept our superintendent's recommendation for approval of item 10A, maintenance custodial for 1657. Are there any questions? If not, all in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Attorney Mayor?
Yes, ma'am. We covered department update in our prior session. Just as an FYI, the city board has asked me to prepare resolutions to honor both the girls and boys basketball teams and their outstanding seasons. Resolution will be presented to the board for consideration Tuesday night, and likely we'll have the basketball teams in following board meeting, the first meeting in April. If y'all want to plan to come at that point in time to honor them,
Okay, so
we'll be there.
not this coming.
The board's going to consider the resolution, but we're actually going to present it at the April board meeting.
This is not mine.
I'll send out an email, let you know on that.
We still having a meeting at the depot.
We are still at the depot, which allows us to social distance and have a larger number of people present if they choose to take.
That it?
That's it.
Okay. We're down to item number 12, superintendent's overview. Dr. Nelson?
With the superintendent's overview in your blue packets, you have a folder with a clamp on it. It'll be, some of it is already given to you. You have the board meeting dates for the 21-22 school year. We also, you asked for some information on our cell phones, and so we provided you the cell phone information. The ones that have the district cell phones, they're listed at the bottom on the 8 district employees with cell phones. But I will be adding, if we could grandfather them in until that. I call the principals day in and day out, on the weekends, spring break. I call all of them. And so I would like to get our principals' cell phone as well, so I won't continue to use their personal phones. And so I will be adding, and as you can see, the rate is a grandfather in rate, and if we change what we have, it's going to go higher. And so we could get their phones for the same amount, then I would like to do that. But I do call them all the time. You asked Ms. Hicks, how often I call you?
All the time.
Yeah. That was
3-4 times a day.
all right, Ms. Hicks. Also, I gave you consultant group information.
Wait, before you leave that,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
when it comes to the district cell phones, do we have any type of policy for use of the phone? Meaning, you made a comment at the last board meeting that one of the district phones was, you were getting calls from different numbers. I have no problem with the district phones as long as they're being used for district business, but they shouldn't be used as a personal device. As an employee, you would have your own personal phone, but you would have a district phone to handle district business.
I would check into that and see if we have a district phone with policy, then we'll draft one. And I checked into that. I didn't change numbers. They just showed me how to block it. So I just blocked those numbers, so I still had the same number. But we'll check into that.
And that's my concern is that we're just using district phones for district business. And, your personal phone, I agree. I don't want my business calling me, after hours or nothing like that. So,
Yeah.
this is on district. comes from.
So I will be adding a few more, so I won't be using their cell phone.
And this grandfather rate for the principals would be the same?
We're gonna check into that.
Okay, my next question is, it said that the district always upgrades with the free option offered by the cell phone company. How often are we upgrading those devices?
When they offer the free ones, I've been here, the first year I was here, I didn't have an upgrade, but my second year, an upgrade came up. And I was provided another phone.
And that's phone by phone, right?
Right, so it depends on when you receive that phone.
Yeah.
Is it 2
Okay, and
years?
what happens to the old phone?
The old, you could turn it back in or you could keep it. But you, with the one that I had, that was, they cleaned it up, they deleted everything that was on there. But I still have it because that was my first year here, and I took pictures all over the campus. So I still have it. So I
Okay, see,
can
that's
take some
my,
pictures.
that was my issue with the upgrades. Okay, once we upgrade the phone,
But they're turned in.
they're
We have
turned
them here.
in, but then they sit in a drawer and for 4 or 5 years, and then the phone is obsolete. We could, sell the phone, or is that legal, or could
I'll
you?
look at that.
You understand what I'm saying? If she
I
has
have
a
a real
phone that's
concern
2
about
years,
anything that's got data on it.
That's what I
In
was
any
gonna
shape, form, or fashion.
but you
This
can
is
wipe it,
data.
couldn't you?
But
Well,
even if you
I
wipe it,
completely trust you, Mike.
you can't wipe everything.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
And
And I will wipe anything, but you cannot wipe everything off of a cell phone. Because I say that, just say, and this is just an example, that one of the employees here is mad with her, that knows her email address and her password to get back into her phone. They can get that old phone, log into it. Everything she does on that new phone will show up on that old phone.
If they know how to get into it.
If they know how to get into
And
it.
some people will.
I
Yes, ma'am.
don't suggest
I
that we
suggest we destroy
sell.
them.
We need to destroy them, to be honest. And the perfect way to destroy them is to destroy the SIM card first and then destroy the device.
And maybe that, you can include that in your policy.
Yeah, because I know that they can do it, because I've done it to hack our company
I
phones to
trust you
show
on
them,
the team.
to show them that we can get in there.
You think you do
I
that?
FaceTime people on their new phones from their old phones.
Alright.
Yeah, because everything is not gonna go away. It doesn't matter how many times you try to wipe it, they can still get in there and pull text messages up, pictures, anything. All you need is the email address and the password, and it will pull everything back up. I don't advise selling it.
Side note, side note, I'm eligible for an upgrade on my phone right now, but they want me to send in my old phone. That's not a recommendation, just go ahead and buy a new phone.
And I'm gonna tell you personally, myself,
You don't
They
have
want you
to.
send the new? this
you
one?
don't have to.
You
No, you don't have to. They only do that if they give you a credit.
They give me $700 for
Right.
this
That's how they
phone.
buy
Right,
it.
that's why.
Uh-huh.
But she's saying that they could,
Yeah,
they
they
can sell
do.
it for $1,000, but somebody could still get my information
Yes,
off of it if I send it
If
in.
they don't like the property,
I don't
That's
see
true.
why not.
I've been with Cinderella for over 13 years, and I never.
They got it.
As long as she got that phone in her possession and she knows where it is, until we come up with something, let her keep it where it is, because anybody can, and I'm not saying that anybody would get mad with her about anything, but if they did, and they wanted to try to just put anything out, all they need to do is just be a secretary and get all her information.
we have the phone, and our director of special services, she communicates a lot with her parents, children. And so, but she also uses the phone as her timeline. Like she sends appointments to students or parents, and she uses her phone a lot to make those contacts, and so do we. So That's her timeline. We don't delete anything. I don't delete messages, emails, and so you could always go back and track those text messages. And they say, well, you didn't call, well, you responded to the text. So, yeah, a lot of it, but we all have them. You know, everyone that upgrade, they keep it on.
Yeah.
And upgrades necessary because you have to get those.
On the phone.
Keep your phone. Don't you know?
The next one that I shared with, that was with you in the board package was the consulting groups. I wanted to share with you, you know, why we use those and what we do with them, and then also the amount of money that we've used over the years. And like I said, if we can hire those, it went up this year due to COVID, you know, with the learning loss and our children weren't here. And then also our Grow Our Own Teacher campaign, we had several first-year teachers that needed that training and support, and bringing the consulting groups in helped us from having to send our teachers out. And so they do not lose teaching time being out the building or out the district. The consultants are actually in their rooms, hands-on with them, modeling, helping them with their lessons and helping them with students. And so they have their...
But the out-of-pocket costs, the outside costs went down. That's what I'm understanding.
What did you say?
The consulting fees went up, but the out of...
The professional development
Yeah,
leader
right.
went down. It's pretty much zero. Because everything was either they came in or it was virtual or they just weren't holding conferences. And so everyone came in. So that's why I went back up this year, because we had several new teachers and we didn't send anyone out. The next one was the ESSER survey. ESSER 2 plans, we are planning for that now. We've sent out our needs assessment survey. You can go online and complete it. We encourage you to do that as well. It talks about the 4 areas that we can spend the money on, and we want the parents and everyone's input on that. Also in the package, we have an ESSER 2 overview handout that kind of explains where that money can go and what it can be spent on. And so we want to share that with you as well. Our strategic plan update, let me find it. That's this handout here. You know, each year I have to give you some updates on our strategic plan. You can go through it. It talks about goal 1, 2, 3, and 4. It gives you charts, our dropout rates, where they are now, our teacher data, teacher retention. If you could look, in 1920, we had a lot of resignations and a lot of staff leaving. This year, we have 3 staff retiring, and we only have 3 resignations this spring. And outside of the 2 teachers that left in the fall. And so they're staying. And I want to say that's a testament to the good leadership. And I'm loving on them a lot. And we're providing them that training, and they're feeling comfortable. So we're proud that we only had, you know, about 3 retiring and 3 resignations, and 1 of those were the individuals that we discussed. So you could go through the strategic plan if you have any questions on it. You can bring it back next month, and we can go back into it in detail. COVID-19 policy and revision review, that's just a reminder.
With respect to that, that's going to be May 17th. The next board meeting, would y'all like me to bring a packet of the policies so that y'all can start looking over them? Ahead of time?
Great.
I'll do that.
Okay.
And if anyone wants it email, I can do that as well.
That would be great. I saved paper.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
anyone wants a print copy, just let me know.
Just email me.
Yeah, you can email.
I'm all electronic.
Email mine to Maria.
So you gonna use my paper? I got you.
I appreciate you, Maria.
You're welcome, I got you, I'm gonna take care of it.
COVID-19, I just shared with you our nurses report for the month of February. And then also as of March 11th, you can see our numbers as far as our COVID. Currently in March, we've had no students to test positive. We've had 11 students quarantined because of that 1 staff person that tested positive. And it was a connection in there. But that's where we are. Our numbers look a lot better. That February was a tough month for us, but it was virtual, cold, there's a lot going on. But
Now that the teachers are eligible for the vaccination, have your teachers thought about getting it done, or do you know?
What we did, Nurse Allen, went around and talked to all the staff, and let them know that it's available. The principals have been letting them know it's available. We do have staff that's already gotten their shots in the district office as well as in the, out in the buildings, but we're letting them know it's available. You know, we can't just go get the shot, but they do know it's available.
Some districts, and this might be because my brother's in Houston, but they bring in a team to do the vaccination for the teachers. I don't know if that's available here in Mississippi or not.
I think we're,
Nurse Allen had referenced that to us.
And like I said, they still down students in their school.
As far as, wearing masks, we will continue to.
Yes, our reopening plan states that masks are required, and the executive order exempted schools.
correct, the governor wanted the last to stay in school until the end of the school year.
The next one, I want to give you a virtual enrollment for March. This is where our enrollment stands. You know, last year we had 906 students, we have 902, so we maintain our enrollment. So I just gave you the total enrollment and then the virtual students for each school at this point. When we return from spring break, we will be calling our virtual students. Those that have maintained appropriately can continue, but those that we are having concerns with attendance or, you know, their work, we're going to encourage them to return in 4 weeks. But our staff is taking care of that. The other thing I want to share, our Wi-Fi. We have Wi-Fi on 4 of our buses now. We also have 1 bus that will be located in the Lawrence community in the city lot, where that was our 1 location that we just couldn't get service. And so now we'll have a bus station there that will help bring some signals around.
When you say station, what do you mean?
It will stay there.
Oh.
It will stay there, and the transportation director has purchased solar panels or generators or something. They'll just go and start it up every so often, and the signal will be out there. So we'll be going out to see how far. He said he think it reaches about 1.5 miles all directions, and so we are still trying to get some connectivity to our students.
That's wonderful.
Does it have to be on or?
No, it's a generator, some solar panels that I had a transportation director. I had a transportation director and come and tell you technology people. Wait, you know how that work? No, okay.
Not particularly.
I think he had it in place. This is in place now.
Okay, so you don't know if it's being used?
Well, Miss McLean and Miss Ullman, they're taking their phones out that way to see how far out it will pick up.
So potentially, if this works, we may do it in
Other locations. What the transportation director is doing now is trying to see where the bus drivers live, and then just letting the bus drivers take the buses home. And then that way the buses are stationary at night when they may be working on the weekends, and the students can still use it. And so right now we're looking at which bus drivers can take their buses home. And right now we only have 1 bus driver that lives out toward Lawrence.
That's one of the worst spots.
Yeah, that's our worst connectivity spot. So we're working on that. We met today with T-Mobile, who have a program that's out that they will provide. I just learned 100 gigabytes is not a lot, for free, or they have some plans. And so we're looking to see how we could mobilize some of that for our parents as well. After school tutoring will start up March 22nd. Our pre-K registration, March 24th. Our summer academy, we're looking to include that the students can choose taking art, cooking, robotics, coding, maybe some cheer and sports, because we know in the summer they're not coming for more math and reading. So we're going to have some choices for them to entice them to come as well. Our Parent and community training pack, that's part of our strategic plan as well. You have information in there. Actually, they having workshop next week on spring break on cybersecurity and on some internet resources. And so that Zoom, you have that information with you as well. Our 100 books for kindergarten, that will be taking place, I think also on spring break or the week after. And so we're getting books in our students' hands before they get here. You have a handout on our CT updates. Our students went to Education Rising, and you can see who placed first, second, and third in all the different categories. And the final thing is our security and safety updates. Where the matlock for the elementary gates, the fence for the practice field, fencing, that way, fencing in the field house. And we want to secure that as well. And then you see some other things down there that we're looking at doing.
You fence the whole,
We're getting quotes on fencing the whole building around behind the field house.
the building, not the.
The field.
The field.
As a security measure. What do y'all think about that? It won't be a chain link fence, it'll be a decorative fence. You know, with the incident, so we're looking at doing that as well. Also, this fall, advertising for the SRO, hopefully get some candidates and provide the training and have that person in place for the spring. But utilizing the continuing where we are is going to help us right now with the Matlock elementary gates and some other security things. All right, and that's the superintendent's report.
Oh,
We
one
skipped
thing.
one,
I skipped one, what else?
the public and communication.
Oh, I didn't get that
Before
in?
you go to that, right, we didn't go to that. Before you go to that, with the new, stimulus package, you know, how does that affect schools? We're gonna be getting some more money. What are we
The ESSER
paying?
three, right?
Yeah.
The upgrading the camera systems with ESSER2, we'll pay for that. Upgrading our air filtration, our boilers, replacing those. We're looking at windows for the middle school. We're looking at replacing the windows at the middle school, also the windows in the cafeteria, so they can be energy efficient. Except in April, when we come back, we'll have all those plans laid out. Upgrading additional technologies, upgrading Promethean boards for our teachers, just about any and everything that you can think of. This handout that talks about the ESSER2 funds, it kind of lays out everything you can do, and it's very vague. It says repairs and upgrades. So they didn't actually pinpoint what kind of repairs and upgrades, but if you can tie it to COVID, that's an upgrade that's needed, then you pretty much can get that. And so that's kind of what we're looking at, but if you have any suggestions as you walk around the campuses, email them to me and I will, see if those are some that we've already outlined. Each director and principal gave their input as well as the staff.
You know, and speaking of
Jim.
walking around the campuses, we didn't or haven't gotten to do our campus inspection, but
They waived
on
it.
COVID.
Right. The State Department waived it this year due to COVID. But the upgrade, the GPS system on the buses, that'll be ESSER2 funds for contact tracing. We could contact trace, see who's sitting next to who on the bus. And so we're doing that. Some schools are even adding classrooms, saying I need a math teacher due to loss of learning. I need to employ a new math teacher. However, I don't have the classroom space. So now I need to buy a mobile classroom in order to put the teacher in. So yeah, it's
Creativity.
And would it help to have a podium with a plexiglass?
It would. We're exploring all our options. Some even, looking at, all types of facilities, gyms with classrooms that have socially distanced. There's minimize students in the building. So It's a lot out there, and with the new, package that's just been approved, our amount is looked to double what we got this time. And so, it's more coming.
And you mentioned that, you want to start doing tutoring.
Right, after
That's
school.
virtual tutoring or?
Actually, it's after school tutoring as well as the virtual students. They will have that, but it's going to be our students that's here at school, they just stay longer. It will be 3:15 to 4:30. And we'll offer snacks and transportation home. And that's funded through the ESSER 212.
Is it a number of students that you have, or just however many volunteer?
Students, the packets were sent home.
No, I'm saying how many students?
It's open to grades 1 through 12. And so it just depends on how many we get to come. They did have a criteria, where students were academically, but it's open to all students. Actually, the deadline for the applications is tomorrow, and we're hoping to meet, today. And we're meeting tomorrow to see how many have returned their packets, and then we'll start calling parents to see if they're going to participate. Anything else?
Now we can go back to, the communication.
Oh, yeah.
Community communication.
Oh, okay, all right.
I saw the 3 points that was put down here about the grandparents not listed, guardians, and.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I skipped that, didn't I? Oh, okay. Some of our challenges trying to get our communications out to everyone. We do the paper as well, but we have numbers that change, and parents or guardians don't update their numbers, so we can't call them or send them messages through our social media or our AIM, alert calls. They're not getting those because the numbers change. Also, we have grandparents that's taking care of children or their grandchildren, or aunts and uncles taking care of children, but they're not listed as guardians. And so when we send things out, they're not getting them. And when they call us and say, well, I didn't get it, and we go into the system, they're not listed. The mother may be listed, but mom is, traveling. But so we're trying to get our systems cleaned up, not cleaned up, more effective and efficient, so that they can get the alerts. Also, legal names not being in the system to attach our call numbers to the students. We have students where, it may be Nene and, what's your name, and Nene?
So who's responsible for updating the correct names and making sure that we do get that information?
The counselors, and first we have to, everyone have to bring the information to us. And once I take for example, giving out the Chromebooks. As Ms. McLean is issuing the Chromebooks, that's where she's finding a lot of it.
Oh, yeah.
And then she will call them and say, okay, let's get your name straight. Nene is down in the system, but I see a Nicole. That's me. Okay, well, so let's get all that straight out. So we're working to with individuals to get it worked out. And Ms. McLean, she I call them, ask them to come up. Let's just get the information straightened out. Just get an affidavit signed. And one reason we're not, even though we have staff that's been here for years, and they know that Nicole is Nene, or they know that grandma is taking care of the children, but we have new staff, like myself. I don't know everyone, so I can't let you leave the campus just because you're telling me you're a grandmother and I don't have anything in the system that says that. And so I think it's going to take us a little while to get it all cleaned up, but we asking our secretaries and our counselors to go back and run reports that's not matching, and we're working through getting all that matched up.
Do we have something in place that shows, like, I guess I'm trying to say, like, the remind, when the teachers are sending things out and they're not getting replies from the parents, do we have some system set up to where we'll see inactive parents or no response or something of that nature to let us try to update those phone numbers, or at least get something out to that parent to get them to send that information back in to us.
What we have, school status, actually, there's a flag that you can do in there, like, let's say, somebody calls and the number doesn't work anymore, you can put a red flag on that, on a non-working number, and then, for active parent, they have to sign up for that, so we're getting a lot of good information from that. You know, we're communicating with parents using active parent, and when we get ready for registration, everybody's gonna have to come get their active parent account, so we'll get most of our information then. And then we'll use that, and we're gonna work with training people that are doing the registration to help them understand, make sure you get this information, and you make sure you get this, and this, and make sure that it's this way, so we'll have the right information. But for the people we have some things that are in place to show, well, this is not working, or these numbers don't work. We can check with AIM though to see which numbers are bouncing back and how they're working. So we do have some things that we're looking at, and we are contacting people. We have some interesting cases that come up all the time, and as they come to the schools, most of the time, a secretary or whoever will call me, and I'll try to track a parent down or talk to them, because what we do tell them is that if they're not listed, you really you can't talk to them about the children, because we are very adamant about this data being correct.
And the only reason why, and I'm asking these questions, is because the parents, they come to who they're comfortable with, and that's anywhere you go. So you have parents and grandparents that are coming to us because they're comfortable with coming to us, and it has been an ongoing thing, and they feel like they're just not getting that information, and they want to know, what can they do or who they need to talk to try to get the information that they need.
Well, if you
would have them call us, if they out there, if they have to contact us, because if they're contacting you, and then you say, okay, but if they gotta call.
And I've told them
You
to
gotta
contact
call us.
the schools, and they don't get anywhere.
Well, tell them to call me. If you call this office.
They always tell them they can't get you.
Now, we do have a new phone
The new
system.
phone system is hard to,
It's hard.
It's personal to get all, it's hard sometimes to get all of who you're trying to get. And I know it's
If
new.
you, and then if you would do this, if they come to you, if you would text me or call me and give me their names, we'll contact them.
Or give them or email.
If you would just give me the names and the numbers,
They're not tech savvy.
Right, but this is the thing.
Get on it.
Let me say something. This is the thing. When I was doing registration, the older people don't, by law with MDE, if that grandmother and grandfather do not have legal guardianship of them children, we cannot give that information. We can't. And see,
But
that
most of them do.
Now have.
They're not
bringing it in.
guardianship.
They got to bring it in. Because when we get audited, when I got audited in the past, when I was doing the duties of the district register, our findings were, they were not bringing it in. What we were receiving was someone typing it up on the computer and getting it notarized. That's not an official document. Notarizing saying that my kids living with my mama is not a legal document. They're gonna have to have it through the court system, and then they will have that access to that information. But we have it where grandparents are calling and say, well, I'm not getting my baby's information. But mother or father registered them babies, and they didn't include them on that baby's information. So
Yes,
I
not
think
even
you said the key to all this, they need to include it on that information. For
Exactly.
instance, I'm included on my children, so therefore,
Right,
I get their information as well as their mom.
right.
I can go and their mom gives me her password, their password, so therefore I can go
And I
and
update
access
them
that.
when they do call. Cause I know y'all busy, and I know y'all not just sitting around here playing tic-tac-toe. So I know you're busy. So it's a lot of phone calls that I'll take care of myself. I get them the information because I get it. I'm signed up for everything. So I know when the messages come out. So I'm giving that information to them. But they just, and with the elderly people, they get frustrated easily.
Well, here's the thing, with active parents, all the information and in Ames, I have set up some grandparents, like people that came to get their Chromebooks, they were older. My question is, do you have active parents? Because we want everybody to have it. And they were like, well, what is it?
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't have it. You know, you got an email address, but you don't know what to do with
They
it.
don't.
So it's okay, because if you call me, I will walk through every step, and I will set your active parent up for you. Then I'll help you learn how to get on the computer. We are going to, with our packed sessions that we're doing for parents, we're going to have some sessions where we sit down and say, okay, click this,
And they
click
need
that, do this,
It's
do
needed.
that. Because these computers will not go away.
No.
So we're here to help everybody. We're trying to get the children situated first. Then we're going to come back and get the grown folks situated too. Because we got to have all of us to do this.
Yes.
So if somebody needs to have AIM or active parent, then call me. Because we can walk them through it. The last time when we did our virtual high school thing, we had some people that, were calling around, they didn't get the messages.
Right.
Well, when we talked to them, we found out that they didn't get the messages because those numbers were incorrect.
Absolutely.
But before we got off the phone, the numbers were correct and they had an active parent account because we want everybody to have one. So we're
And
working
one
on
thing
it.
with Miss McLean, she has a district phone. She said, call me, here's my number. And that's what everyone with the district phones. If I have parents that have my number right now, they call me. They say, well, I'll call and talk to you. I said, you have my number. Because sometimes we're not at the desk.
Right.
And that's why the district phones are convenient, because we can share because it's a district phone. But now she had to have one because she was giving out her personal number. I said, no ma'am. Mm-mm. So we need those phones, but if you would just give them, tell them to contact us and we will walk them through it. We'll make home visits and socially distanced in the yard. But we do want everyone to get the information, and we're gonna help our grandparents, not at home with, but we will. We have some challenges, and like I said, trying to get it accurate is gonna take time, because we've been accustomed, not just our community, it's just everywhere where, oh, I know grandma, I know they have it, I'm gonna just let you in. So, but it's gotta stop at some point, because we have cyber bullying, cybersecurity, trafficking, and we just want to make sure that whoever have access to the information, that's who they should have it to. We want to keep everyone safe.
During the registration process, as a parent, just like the example Ms. Chapman gave, if the parent wants the grandparent to have access to all of that, is there a place in the registration packet, or could we place something in the registration packet?
You have to give them your information.
So as a parent, I couldn't just, in other words, while I'm doing the registration packet, I say I want my father to have access to all of my children's information. I can't do that. I would have to.
The parent have to give it to them.
But, okay, I got you.
That's trying to think the word they used when I went to the conference, is something similar to HIPAA.
Purple?
Yeah.
It's purple.
But
Yeah.
you can sign a waiver.
Well, okay. Are you asking?
I can give access to whoever I want to have my medical
He wants to
information.
know who.
What's so hard about the parents giving the information to
Because
whoever needs it?
my thinking
I'm
is
asking
the parents, some parents that, child is being raised by the grandparent don't have the faculties, that's why the grandparent is in place, simply because of,
But if the grandparent, the legal guardian, see, then you got another issue.
they don't, a lot of times in those situations, I'm thinking about a situation where they don't want to give up custody or legal guardianship of their child, even though they know that the grandparent is actually the one doing the
Okay.
raising of the
Okay,
child.
so the parent came and registered those kids, right? So that parent has that information, whatever information is for that particular child, that parent has. So that parent can give it to that grandparent.
Just like Ms. Brantley said, that's a liability. I mean, you can't do that. You would be audited for doing something like that.
That's just like if you can write a permission slip and tell me that you want, that for your wife to get your transcript.
She's not.
We are, I'm sorry, Ms. Maria, you still talking, I can't.
You go ahead, I'm sorry.
We are in trying times for sure, especially with COVID. And it does make things just so much difficult. It just adds salt to the wound, pretty much. But I'm saying this here, I'm not saying it to be rude, ugly, or anything like that, but it is reality. No one person can cater to 900 people. And then when you said 900 people, sometimes you're talking about a parent, then you're talking about a grandparent, an aunt, or uncle, and everybody calling for that one person to get that same information. So it has to be something in place so that the information is distributed correctly and not illegally. Because then the very minute something happens, it could should have worked. And it's too late. And I know that it's hard on elderly people right now because they cannot navigate through some of the processes, especially on that computer. And it's hard for me sometimes, a lot of times. But we have to allow the district to do what they can do for the better good of the community, because you cannot cater to 920 people. And I use that word cater for lack of a better word, not to add insult to anything.
I agree.
I give you an example, because this is something that I asked about, and we went totally off left to what my main thing was.
Right, we did.
If we did, we went left, and it wasn't about personal information at all. Because I know for myself, I'm not gonna give out my personal information, and I know they're not gonna give out these kids' information to just anybody. That wasn't the point that I was having on this. It's I guess to say, getting a way to try to get them more involved with getting that information to you or whomever is over it. That was my point. Not getting their information out, but to get the information from them, get it back in here to you.
And Ms. Larry,
I
you
used to-
heard the example that you felt.
Tuesday,
Right.
when the schools were on virtual for the high school and the middle school. Some of those kids got on a bus and had to be taken back home because no one knew about it. No one was told. That's when I asked about it.
Okay, for middle school and high school,
Yes,
see, they never should have gotten on the bus.
but they
Because
did.
all the bus drivers knew, and
And that one didn't.
that's really interesting.
Yes.
Were they on the same bus?
Yes, they were all on the same bus.
So we need to know the name of that bus driver, because all the bus drivers knew, only the elementary
And see,
schools.
okay, here's what went out for that particular incident, because we try to make, first of all, the closer you get to a time of a situation, the more aggressive we are with what we send out. And I know, I've heard some people say, we tired of hearing you. And it's okay, because some days I'm tired of hearing me too. But guess what? By the same token, you want the information.
Absolutely.
So, and sometimes we don't like the text-to-speech lady, so we have to hear me. Well, as we get closer to the time, you're gonna get more messages because we're trying to make sure that we don't miss anyone. Now, the message that you hear from me comes out of AIM. That's our mass communication system that we're using. But the system that the public does not get is school status. Principals are sending the messages blast. You might get 4, 5, 6 if you're.
I got 5 of them.
So principals get principals are sending. I'm sending it from A. Principals are sending it through school status. I'm also posting it on active parent. I'm posting it on active student. See, now here's the thing. All of our parents are not signed up for active parent, but every one of our students, because I signed every one of our students up for active students. So they're logging in, they can see grades, they can see announcements. So if it's an announcement about being out of school, that was an active parent, active student, it's on Facebook.
My child, I have his login stuff, and even if he's not logged in himself, I have everything I need.
So you know it's there.
So I go in there and
It's
I look
there.
for myself.
It's just the point of getting everybody to come on.
Right.
That's the thing.
There's 3 different forms of communication to the parents, and if I'm on one and miss the other,
It's there. We're trying, look,
You understand
every
what I'm
one of
getting
these different systems. We're trying to get
It's the same message to all the telephone, active parent, school status, active student, and it's the same message. It just
so it's posted on all 3
Yes.
of those.
And then we're actually,
Facebook,
Okay,
web page, yeah, it's the same message. And our teachers also send out their message.
the next system we're gonna use will be Clever. We're also going to, every system that we have available to us, we don't call it overkill because you may not like a text message, but you might like a voicemail. I might not like a voicemail, I might like a text message. So whatever we have, and actually the way AIM is set up right now, the AIM system is set up to where text messages go first, but you can get the voice call behind it. If you notice it's a 1-800 number, you can call that number back and hear the message. That's something that's new that you couldn't do with Blackboard. Inside of Active Parent, you should also be able to still look at those messages that are there. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. You can use those, you can use Active Parent to go back and see the messages there as well. Getting all of our parents into Active Parent is going to be the key to everybody getting the information. We'll get that.
But now the students are getting it.
Yeah, they
All the
get it.
students, every student have a active student account.
Well,
So you
I
could
get
ask your
mine.
child, let me see what's in it.
I get it, man.
So our goal is to have 100% of our parents on active parents.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, that's our goal.
And as they pick up their Chromebooks, that's what we're doing.
Whether I'm on school status or not, 100% of our parents on active.
School status, you don't have a choice in. School status, it feeds in from our SAM system. So if you have contact information available, you're in school status.
In school.
Yeah, but it's just the fact of us having accurate information. Because all we can have is what we put in SAM. So if we got an old number, and we do have some old numbers.
And that was my whole point, was trying to figure out a way to get them to update that information.
As we do registration, it's
I
coming.
used to send out twice a year, updated
Yeah.
information form. After school started in August, and I put that information in. Well, come December, before we got out for the Christmas holiday, I sent an update form home by all the kids, but they didn't come back.
But for all future references, if we get calls, we will direct them to you, and just let you know the parent's name.
You get their contact information, we'll take it from there.
I believe that brings our meeting to a conclusion unless anybody else has anything further to discuss. Could I get a motion that we adjourn this meeting?
I motion that we adjourn tonight's meeting.
It's been moved and seconded that tonight's meeting be adjourned. Any questions? If not, all in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? This meeting is now adjourned.
Get you a cinnamon roll.